It's the 24th day of the third month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. The month of March is still being observed as Women's History Month, World Endometriosis Month, Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month, and Colon Cancer Awareness Month. It's Covenant Day in Northern Marianas and National Tree Planting Day in Uganda. It's World Tuberculosis Day. Hoy es miércoles el 24 de marzo 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mercredi le 24 mars 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story. Le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 24th of March, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Listen to the story of the Jamaican diaspora on Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. That's Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday during Both Sides of the Story, brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
The lips of the righteous, it teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Do, 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 do,
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in on the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you for dialing one of two designated numbers. For those who wish to listen to Power 106 FM in that manner, call 631-359-8281 if you're in the United States. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, that's the number, 631-359-8281. And if you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We thank you if you've logged on to the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to both sides of the story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. If you wish to watch both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, you have a couple of options. There's the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to watch both sides of the story via Facebook. If you don't have a Facebook account or any other social media account, then you have another option. You could choose to, well, first of all, you need a device, whether a smartphone, a laptop, a tablet computer, a desktop, or otherwise known as a personal computer, any one of those. Next step is to have internet connection. If you have internet connection to any of those devices, the next step is to open a browser. A browser is a window, your window to the world, essentially, where you can type and search for information and whatever you're looking for. Examples of browsers: Google Chrome, Bing, Safari, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some others, but those are available to you. In any one of those browsers, type, well, you should see, if you're searching now, you should see this video trending on YouTube. If you're not seeing it, then in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to watch both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? The lines are open to you. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, and you can also call us directly on that number, 876 365 3346. That's 876 365 3346. Jennifer in Q Road, Kencott, says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan. My tablet shut down. No more YouTube till it fix. Sorry to hear that. Hope you're able to resolve that matter post haste. We started out this afternoon with that favorite of ours, the Persian apothegm. He who knows not and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Avoid him. He who knows not and knows that he knows not is a student. Teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows that he knows is a wise man. Follow him. And then we capped that with Fools Die by Peter Tosh. Enough said. Let's go to the text line, which doubles as our WhatsApp number. Miss Olive is waiting patiently. I think Miss Olive is home. I think that was the last message I saw. Unless something changed. Miss Olive, good afternoon.
Dervan. I've been home since Saturday. Yeah.
Right.
But the breathing is still my major problem right now. So I have to go. When I go back to the doctor, they will do another tapping and tapping slowly, because they can't do everything one time. So they have to take it one step at a time. Oh boy, but it's not pretty, Dervan. I am so weak I can hardly walk. And then lying down in bed, I try to get up and sit in the couch and prop my legs up because my legs are swollen. Okay. But God is able, Dervan. God is able.
Yes, indeed.
Leave everything in his hands. Two major things. Firstly,
can you start by muting your TV, please?
Oh, sorry, Mom. They watch cricket. I thought that. Okay. All right, that's a good?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was listening to the news where this man was in prison for 30 odd years because of a stabbing thing he did. And you want to tell me that he wasn't related to anybody at all? They're trying to find somebody who is responsible or who could take him under them wings, some family member, and nobody. But watch and see if him lawyer sue the government. Look how much people have come from under stone and say my brother, my sister, my cousin, my son, my daughter, my whatever. You understand me? I don't understand how we treat our people. I just cannot. When I see how my children treat me, Dervan, if you ever be around me, and all yesterday, the whole week as a matter of fact, from I come home, it's pure condom. Them all put up iron in my room so that them can see the move I make.
Oh, wow.
So them all, yes, please, that was done yesterday. And laughing spoiled. Anyway, quickly, today is my son's birthday, Leighton McIntosh. Today is his birthday. So I said, let me call you quick. I sent her a message on NCU this morning. And one of my daughters said, oh, I guess the next one is Dervan. I guess the next one is Dervan. Oh, Jesus. So I hope them listening, like how them fast. I may talk loud with them here. I hope them fast. So let them say, yes, we call Dervan. So them get them wishes. Dervan, I say, let me tell you, I have some children, you see, love. God bless them. Thank God for them every single day. Because, boy, they have been there for me through thick and thin, through my ups and through my downs. And I can't thank God enough for them. So, now that them not going in office, well, my Jackie My eldest daughter, she had to go in yesterday and today. So tomorrow and on Friday, she's off. But Tony Ann, she works with the Chase Fund. She has been working at home for quite some time now. And then Christine, she's with Victoria Mutual. She works from home, but she go in maybe sometime on a Thursday and do her thing, have meetings and things like that. And then she have the rest of her time. So when them leave work, them head straight to my yard and give me a hard time. So, oh God. And the lady that I rent from Dervan, I can't thank her enough. She has been my hand and my feet from I come out the hospital. She's there for me night and day. She's a nurse. She's a nurse with the National Health Fund, but because of the COVID, she's not going out. So she tell my son, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. So don't worry about anything. Dervan, she has been my hands and my feet. One last thing, a lady who was across from me at KPH, Joy, she's from Clarendon, but she's now living in town. She was my hand and feet when I was in KPH. When the doctor, them now is not paying no mind. Oh my God, I can't believe it's KPH that the nurses and the doctors, you could have called them until God come. Nobody business them, they're having a good time. I am really disappointed because the treatment I got when I was there first, I remember calling you and telling you how well I was taken care of. But this time around, call the doctor and say, Doc, when you have a minute, let me just ask you a question. And the doctor passed me go, doctor passed me go, pass me go. No, another doctor come and said same thing. She passed me go. So when I said to her, Doc, do you have a minute, please? I just need to ask you one question. So she finally come. What is it? I said, I need to know the thing that they put in my back. The dressing is still there. So I want to know if anything can be done here to remove it or what should I? Well, we have done all that we can. So whatever else to be done with that, you have to go back to Chest Hospital. That's then she just gone. So I say, anyway, thank you so much for your answer. Bye. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyway, we have more than people to take care of me, so I have to go find a way now to see. I might have to go private doctor to make them take, because the suture is still there, and it sometimes it just bite me. It just grab me and let go. The nurse here, she can take it out, but I think she wanted she have a tweezer, but some other thing she wanted to, like clip in the thing to get it out. So we're working on that. So, all right, Dervan. So you have a bliss. And my favorite singer, Peter Tosh. Oh my Lord, that is my favorite singer. Everybody love, what's his name now?
Who's that?
Peter Tosh and Peter Tosh.
Bonnie Whaler.
I have Bonnie Whaler. I have why I can't remember his name?
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, that's the one. Everybody was a Bob Marley fan, but Olive, I was a Peter Tosh fan. Everybody couldn't understand. We can love the Bob Marley said like that. I don't love him, but that's my favorite guy. So when I hear you playing this man, it did something to my soul. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. And tell the one, Jessim Dash, we're clean, but it's all right. All right. Okay, everyone.
Thanks for the call. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Okay. Good. Bye-bye.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
Healthcare workers are working very hard to ensure lives are saved and people recover quickly from COVID-19. But their work is becoming harder because you're not wearing your mask, washing your hands with soap and water, or using hand sanitizer, and you are not maintaining physical distance. Let's limit the need for hospital beds and ventilators. Do the right thing. Cover your nose and mouth with a mask. Practice good hand hygiene and maintain a physical distance of 6 feet between you and others. COVID-19 is not over. Protect yourself while protecting others. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Gleaner Premium will excite your digital media experience, satisfy your appetite for exclusive stories and special access to editors' fora, videos, podcasts, and much more. To subscribe, go to jamaica-gleaner.com/premium and select the e-Gleaner or website option. Welcome to your new digital experience, the Gleaner Premium.
Free premium access to unlimited news and value-added offerings. Limited time offer ends soon.
Turn things up a notch this Easter and recreate a 5-star gourmet experience in your kitchen with the Gleaner's Easter Cookbook. Coming this Thursday, chock full of recipes that you and your family will love. Spend time at home creating scrumptious memories with mouth-watering dishes from your Jamaican chefs. Get your copy of the Gleaner's Easter Cookbook free in the Thursday Gleaner, the Gleaner, where life unfolds.
Destruction of poor people is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place. Do, 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 do.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon to those of you who have been with us from the start, just over half an hour ago. Welcome if you're just joining us. Hello, good afternoon to Oliver Masters. He says, wow, daddy is all spiffy and dandy today. Must have been someplace stoosh, LOL. Thank you for your message, Oliver Masters. Beverly in Toronto, Canada says, good afternoon, Dervan and listeners. To you too, Beverly. Bijou in New York, good afternoon to you too. Thank you for tuning in. Lots of love to you and the family, to Mr. B, to Jorvilia, and the other members of the family. Beverly says, some good news for stranded snowbirds. Air Canada to resume flights early May. Jennifer Stewart on Q Road in Kencott says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan. My tablet shut down. No more YouTube till it fixed. I think I read that earlier on. Angela Strawn Dorman. Mrs. Dorman, how are you? She says, hello, Sir Dervan. How you do? Long time. It's been a while. Always refreshing to hear from you, Mrs. Dorman. Beverly in Toronto, Canada says, wow, Miss Olive got the COVID. No, Miss Olive didn't say she got COVID, Beverly. She described the same feeling as those described by my sister who works in a nursing home, who was tested positive, still recovering in hospital. Wow, ain't pretty. Thanks for your message, Beverly. Inez Campbell-Brown in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Errol in New Jersey. They've both joined us. Oliver Masters says Miss Olive had been giving blessings all along, and it's all coming back at her now. She will now heal and be back to herself too soon. Thank you very much, Oliver, for your message on Facebook Live. Robert Gray is on YouTube. Robert Gray of the St. Catherine High School Past Students Association, Philadelphia chapter. He says, good afternoon, Dervan, watching from a rainy Philadelphia. Stay dry in rainy Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and sisterly affection. Jason Jones says, good day from New Jersey. Welcome, Jason Jones from New Jersey. Thank you for tuning in. All the very best to you. And let's go to our WhatsApp messages right now. Lots of messages there. Let's go through this one from Richie Innocent. He seems to be involved in some competition or another, and therefore encouraging us to vote for him. Let's see if the information is adequate to share. It looks like these are, well, here we go. www.irama.com. Send voters and fans to vote at category 23 Muta Baruka Awards for Best Spoken Word Entertainer. Vote for Richie Innocent for Best Spoken Word Dub Poet Entertainer in the Muta Baruka Awards category 23 in the Irama Awards for 2020. Go to Irama Awards. Irama stands for International Reggae and World Music Awards. Vote now. Thank you. Well, we just shared the information, Richie Innocent. All the best in your pursuits. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, good afternoon to you. Greeting everybody as usual. And Ricardo says, happy birthday to your son, Miss Olive, from Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Let's take you back a year ago. Let's take you back to last year this time. The Gleaner's front page last year this time was Seniors Under Lockdown. Seniors under lockdown. 75-year-olds ordered to stay put. 65-year-olds and over to work from home. 1 year later, and our seniors are being vaccinated. 1 year later, and our senior citizens are being vaccinated. A year ago, the headline was Seniors Under Lockdown. 75-year-olds ordered to stay put, 65-year-olds and over to work from home. And there's a picture of a senior citizen, Trevor Small, walking along Ocean Boulevard. He apparently supported the government's decision to ban over 65s from working out and instructing that 75-year-olds and older stay home. There's a picture of Prime Minister Holness and Bishop Dr. Harold Blair. Dr. Blair apparently prayed before Prime Minister Holness addressed a press conference on COVID-19 at Jamaica House on the 23rd, Monday the 23rd of March last year. And another headline, or just below that picture, schools out until after Easter. Schools out until after Easter. A year later, and schools are essentially still out. Still out. It's always quite intriguing and instructive to go into the archives, look at where we're coming from to where we are right now. Sheer, and there's a pun here, sheer pain for barbers, hairdressers, coronavirus fallout to worsen as 10-person limit takes effect. A year later, the barbers and hairdressers are still in business. Good afternoon to Charmaine Shortridge, David Banton, and the other members of the team at the Barber Center and Spa. Upstairs, that's upstairs, Richie B's liquor store at Mary Brown's Corner. I think that's what, yes, that's Mary Brown's Corner. So good afternoon, Charmaine Shortridge and the team at the Barber Center and Spa. I tell people that, I mean, I haven't, the frequency of my visits has lessened for various reasons. One, that I learned to trim myself, and two, well, at the time, the traffic situation in that area would have been a factor as well with the widening of Constant Spring Road going all the way up, and then COVID-19 and related matters, and therefore, but we have been back since COVID-19, and it was quite reassuring to be in that space, because let's not forget the barbers, hairdressers, aestheticians. They have always practiced hygiene. It's part of their work. They have to sanitize the equipment, the tools, the furniture, the whole works. They've done that all their lives, and so the likelihood of an infection is close to remote. It's like the dentists. It's like the dentists. Yeah, hygiene is number one, but people like me have stayed away, whereas we normally would run and jump once we get that call for the usual cleaning twice per year. We promise the dentist that we'll be back soon. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, these are just some of the stories trending last year this time. COVID church closures not faithless, St. James pastor. Olympic Gardens residents' car in fear after triple murder. 8 bloody Sunday killings take toll to 306. So last year, this time, that was the murder figure, 306. 306. A year later, what did I hear in the news today? I think it's 300 plus. That's what we heard on the news. 300 plus murders since the start of the year. So the numbers in relative terms hovering around the same region, even in the midst of a pandemic. Only Jamaicans, only Jamaicans. When we're good, we're good. When we're good, we're exceptional. When we're bad, oh boy. Suspected suicide at Tar Street Prison was another story last year this time. No Sunday dinner, cry homeless. Another of the stories from last year's Gleaner this time. Just giving you a sense of where we were last year this time and where we are right now. Policy options for COVID-19 in Jamaica, part 1, was Professor Anthony Clayton's contribution. Professor Clayton is a thoughtful man, and his writings are always worth reading. Another failing budget sigh was one of the letters to the editor last year this time. We need a city morgue. That's another. Temporarily release at-risk prisoners. Remember that lobby? That lobby continues by Stand Up Jamaica. Worst time for Almagro. Faced with a major global peril, the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean missed an opportunity to strengthen their capacity to create a common front against this and other crises. They re-elected Luis Almagro as Secretary General of the Organization of American States, OAS. Right. I think we'll leave the reflections of last year right there. Let's see. What was the cartoon? In one frame, I don't think social distancing means sleeping the entire day. In frame 2, Lady Public is supposedly saying, "You lazy bum." And the person who is sleeping in bed says the best way to avoid nagging. Oh, coronavirus outbreak on the front page of the newspaper on the floor in that cartoon. That's our look back at last year this time.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Win more money with Lucky Play Lotteries. Play Big Pot, Super 5, and Dream 6 today. The time by Lucky Play Lottery is
2:45.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise the public that effective 10 a.m. Monday, March 22, people 75 years and older who wish to be vaccinated must make an appointment before visiting a vaccination site. Appointments can be made by visiting www.moh.gov.jm or call 888-1LOVE. 888-663-5683. You may ask a friend, relative, or a healthcare provider to assist you with booking an appointment. People are asked to take a government-issued ID or a letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination center. Additionally, vaccination will continue for other priority groups. The ministry thanks the public for their cooperation. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Here's a story from The Economist, headlined, "What do COVID-19 vaccine efficacy rates really mean?" What do COVID-19 vaccine efficacy rates really mean? Before we go on, you would have been hearing that word quite a lot since the onset of COVID-19, and even maybe before to a lesser extent. Efficacy. It is the ability to produce a desired or intended result. Efficacy, E-F-F-I-C-A-C-Y. E-F-F-I-C-A-C-Y. Efficacy. The ability to produce a desired or intended result. The ability to produce a desired or intended result. Therefore, when we speak of the efficacy of a vaccine, we're speaking about the capacity, the likelihood of that vaccine to do what the experts say it would do. The ability to produce a desired or intended result. efficacy. Let's go to the story in The Economist. What do COVID-19 vaccine efficacy rates really mean? Trial results for different jabs vary significantly, but even seemingly low success rates are cause for celebration. The world is spoilt for choice when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. More than 80, more than 80 are in clinical development, and 182 are in preclinical development. So do the math, and you're looking at more than 260, just under 260 vaccines are either in clinical development or in preclinical development. So the world is spoiled for choice when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. More than 80 are in clinical development, and 182 are in preclinical development. But people naturally want to know which works best. The reported numbers vary considerably. Pfizer, and that's spelled Pfizer, Pfizer, the P is silent, Pfizer. Pfizer and Moderna, Moderna, two drug makers that developed the same type of vaccine, have announced efficacy rates of 94 to 95%. Once again, Pfizer and Moderna are saying that 94 to 95% of the time, their vaccine will do what it is created to do. That's what Pfizer and Moderna are saying. On the 22nd of March, that was a couple days ago, AstraZeneca, 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 AstraZeneca. On March 22nd, a couple days ago, AstraZeneca, a British-Swedish drug maker, reported that its vaccine was 79% effective at preventing symptomatic COVID-19 in trials in Chile, Peru, and the United States. Now, that's the vaccine our people are taking here in Jamaica, AstraZeneca. And AstraZeneca, this British-Swedish drug maker, is reporting that its vaccine is 79% effective at preventing symptomatic COVID-19 in trials in Chile, Peru, and the United States. In fact, studies show that leading jabs work, and when you hear the term jab, it's talking about the injection, the inoculation, the immunization, the jab, right? So, in fact, the studies show that leading jabs, as in leading vaccines, work similarly well in the real world. So, what do these numbers mean, and how is vaccine efficacy measured? Vaccine efficacy, and again, that means the vaccine doing what the makers say it does. Vaccine efficacy is determined in randomized controlled trials in which volunteers receive either a vaccine or a placebo. Either a vaccine or a placebo. A placebo is a medicine or some kind of procedure which is prescribed for the psychological benefit to the patient rather than for any physiological effect. Physiological meaning you're able to feel it, to feel the effects. Psychological is not physical, right? So the story goes on in The Economist. Can we bring it up back? Here we go. So vaccine efficacy is determined in randomized controlled trials in which volunteers receive either a vaccine or placebo. These trials tell researchers how well the vaccine works in optimal conditions, how well the vaccine works in the best of conditions, optimal conditions, in which its storage and delivery are monitored and volunteers are healthy. Storage and delivery are monitored and volunteers are healthy. To calculate efficacy rates, scientists compare the frequency of COVID-19 infection in the vaccinated and the placebo groups. That's just a quick read, and you can always Google for more. All right, here's something coming out of this story coming out of Mexico through Reuters. Apparently, researchers in Mexico have designed a nose-only mask. A nose-only mask. Let's see if we can play a bit of this just briefly for you. In Mexico, they have designed a nose-only mask. Let's shall we hear the story? Oh, so what's happening, listeners? It's more, they're more music than talk. They're not talking, but the words are popping up on the screen. Essentially, researchers in Mexico designed this nose-only mask to be worn under a normal face mask. So you put on your nose mask and then you put on your face mask. That's apparently the routine if you decide to get one of these masks. They say the masks protect you while eating and drinking. So the nose mask, they're telling us, protects us while eating and drinking. And let's see. Yeah, that's essentially it. You can Google that, nose mask. And that's from researchers in Mexico. That's another of the stories doing the rounds. UK and EU move to calm tensions over access to vaccines. That's what the Financial Times is reporting. UK and EU move to calm tensions over access to jabs, but top Brussels policymaker accuses London of vaccine nationalism. That's what the UK is being accused of, vaccine nationalism in its pandemic response. Here's a bit of the story. The UK and EU have moved to calm tensions over access to coronavirus vaccinations, despite a top Brussels policymaker accusing the UK of vaccine nationalism in its pandemic response. In other words, like Parson christening him Picnic Foss, as in the UK taking care of its people by getting those vaccines in the numbers that they need to get them in order to help their people. That's what's happening. The statement committed both sides to work together. Well, let's go back a bit after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
With all that's been happening for 2020, it may be easy to forget about the transatlantic hurricane season. But don't worry too much because we've got you covered. Literally, with tarpaulins, umbrellas, and raincoats.
We have candles, flashlights, lanterns, and batteries, cleaning and sanitization supplies, brooms, rakes, bins, multi-purpose containers, and buckets. We even have drinking water and non-perishable food items too.
Let us help keep you and your family taken care of this hurricane season. Stay aware, stay safe, and get prepared. At Bashco, at 30 years, giving you more.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more. Right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Of wisdom, the rich man's wealth is in the city. Vexation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of poor people is poverty.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Let's go back to that story about UK and EU moving to calm tensions over access to jabs, as in vaccines. The UK and EU have moved to calm tensions over access to coronavirus vaccinations, despite a top Brussels policymaker accusing the UK of vaccine nationalism in its pandemic response. Britain and the European Commission on Wednesday, that's today, issued a joint statement saying there had been discussions on developing a reciprocally beneficial relationship to tackle COVID-19. The statement committed both sides to work together to create a win-win situation and expand vaccine supply for all their citizens. Boris Johnson, UK Prime Minister, insisted that he did not want to see a tit-for-tat vaccine war. Britain has offered to help boost production of the AstraZeneca vaccine at the Helix plant in the Dutch city of Leiden, and Downing Street has not ruled out the UK giving up some of the millions of doses it claims have been contracted to it. The EU also claims the vaccines. You can read on. That's in the Financial Times. And just making sure we don't miss anything. Let's come back home. Let's come back home. Oh, there's a story trending in Time magazine. Virginia's Democratic Governor Ralph Northam signed into law legislation abolishing the death penalty, making Virginia the first southern state to ban capital punishment. Virginia in the United States is the first southern state to ban capital punishment. Let's go back to, let's check out some of the local stories in the meantime. Chief Medical Officer calls for increased COVID-19 vigilance. Disarmed robber makes off with $950,000. You will notice an increase in the number of robberies. That has been the case for a little while now. And that's because a lot of the scamming money has dried up. Those who used to benefit from scamming funds, a lot of that money has dried up. Also, the spaces within which some of these individuals used to operate are no longer operational. So, for example, there are those who used to benefit from putting on dances and sessions to generate revenue so that they could continue to buy corn. That's the name they give to gunshots, to bullets, corn. So they can buy that, and also so that they can buy guns. So there are those who would normally rely on scamming money. They would rely on extortion money. And they would also rely on money coming from dance and sessions that they would put on as revenue generation. So with the drying up of these funds and the various lockdowns and restrictions and curfews, they can't earn as much as they used to. So their new strategy is to identify vulnerable institutions, organizations, locations, individuals, and rob them. And so now would be a good time for all of us to review our security systems, especially those of us who operate businesses, and in particular, businesses that deal in money. Whether we're talking the banks, although so far they haven't been too brave to try it with the banks. And I think I know why, but I won't say. Not so much the banks, but the money shops, the remittance houses. Those are the areas they have been targeting. And it seems to me that it's so obvious. So what we need to do is to put in the necessary safeguards and security systems. And we mean very good security systems. We're not talking some little cheap thing that not going to capture the images clear enough and you won't be able to zoom in and magnify the images. We must invest in decent cameras, because decent cameras, effectively and properly positioned, have been helping us so far in this country. We have seen evidence of this in helping us to solve some crimes committed in this country and to identify some people. So be mindful that there are still scammers out there, but the scamming is not as rampant where they used to collect a lot of money. Their money is drying up. Their money is drying up. And that's when they start to commit robberies, when the money starts to dry up. Because they can't operate above ground like those of us law-abiding citizens are able to. They invariably have to be underground. So that's what is happening. But let's get back to the story. A robber made off with $950,000 in cash, but not before he was disarmed of a Glock pistol during a robbery in New Kingston yesterday. According to police reports, about 2:07 p.m., here we go again, the 2 o'clock hour. It's something we've been watching for years. Crimes being committed after 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Crimes being committed after 2 in the afternoon. We've been watching it for at least, a few years now. We've been watching. We listen to the various newscasts. We always listen out what time the crime was committed. And we've been noticing that after 2 o'clock is a good time, apparently, for those who want to commit crimes. Maybe on account of the fact that it's not rush hour. It's not a peak period. Most people would have come back from lunch. In most business places, you would have come back from lunch by 2 o'clock. the roads will not necessarily be as busy as they would normally be. As we said, it's not peak hour. So getting away is a little easier. Less traffic to deal with. And also, some areas are likely to be lonelier until 5 o'clock comes. So you won't have a heavy pedestrian traffic, too much pedestrian traffic in certain areas. Well, I'm not the crime expert or the safety and security expert. I like to consider myself as a security buff. I try to be as security conscious as possible and try to understand why people kind of study people. What do you call that? Anthropology and people's movements and tendencies, and matching that with data that you have, and just trying to get a sense of what is happening or not happening. So there we go again, the 2 o'clock hour. According to police reports, about 2:07 p.m., the complainant was standing on the sidewalk when he was approached by a gunman who robbed him of cash amounting to $950,000. Now, the law says we're not supposed to be walking around with $1 million in cash. So this person was walking with 950,000. Now, usually or invariably, when this robbery happens in this specific way, in this targeted way, it means somebody, either the robber himself or someone known to the robber and the person who has been robbed, would have this information that John Brown will be walking with $950,000 after coming from this institution or that institution. And with that information, the robber can then position himself to relieve John Brown of his $950,000. So we have to be careful. I know as Jamaicans, as we say in Jamaica, we bossy bad. Some of us as Jamaican. Yeah, man. At the bank, me there. Yeah. Yeah, man. Remember me at the 950,000. Yeah, man. Yeah, when me leave here, I walk around the road there. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, man. So me talk to you. Yeah. And I'm saying, why do people do that? Why would you want to telegraph to the world that you are going to be walking with 900? I'm just saying, I'm not speaking to the specific case, but I'm just speaking in general terms. Whether it be 950 or 50 or 20 or 10,000, we must be careful. These things called cell phones, and we Jamaicans, I don't want to generalize and say we're a loud people. We're loud, right? You ever see some people talking to the phone? My mother would say, "Mind sharp, then mash up the phone," because somebody on the phone is getting them into an argument, and you see them cussing the phone, right? So we're loud when it comes on to phones in Jamaica. We don't recognize that the phone is so set up that if we were to speak in our normal voice, that the person on the phone should hear us, unless, of course, we're in a noisy environment or the person on the other end of the line is in a noisy environment. We don't have to talk so that everybody hear what we're doing and hear our business. No, it's something we have talked about before on this program. The story goes on. A struggle reportedly ensued between the robber and the complainant, during which the robber was disarmed before running off with the cash. In other words, you can keep the gun. Me get what me want. Me can always maybe use 250,000 out of this and buy back a gun. Yeah? A struggle reportedly ensued between the robber and the complainant, during which the robber was disarmed before running off with the cash. The police were summoned and the firearm handed over. Investigations are ongoing. Jamaicans, we need to remain vigilant. which is why when we're in the public space, as we have said over and over on this program, when we find ourselves in the public space, in any town center, in any city center, in any built-up area, anywhere where people are, we need to be careful. We need to be mindful. One moment, please.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:15.
Both sides of the story.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm to join in a series of discussions on building a strong relationship with your child. We invite children to call in and voice their concerns. This broadcast is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. Every child deserves protection. Margins Pharmacy and Community Meds Pharmacy. That's a live broadcast of Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday, right here on Power 106 FM.
Sides of the story.
The lips of the righteous, it teaches many. But fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Do, 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 do. Fixation of the soul is vanity.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Let's clear some more messages before we continue. Miss Olive in Portmore says, my illness is the side effects of breast cancer, fluid in my right lung. From time to time, they withdraw the fluid. They can't do it all at once so as not to mess up my lungs. Thank you all for your prayers and support. God bless. Thank you for sharing such personal information, Miss Olive, in particular for Beverly in Toronto, Canada, who was concluding that COVID was at play. Laney says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. So sorry to hear of Miss Olive's illness. I pray God will touch her with his healing powers and restore her back to good health. Love and blessings to all in earshot of your program. Thanks for all you do for us. You really make my afternoon. Wishing you good health and stay safe. One love, Laney. Thank you very much, Laney, for your kind words. All the very best. Another one. Good day, Mr. Malcolm. I heard a certain big, and this is in bold letters, B-I-G. I heard a certain big journalist on a particular radio station salivating at the accusation of statutory rape made against a PNP official and the springing into action on the matter by Mr. Fitzbailey. But what about the matter of the affidavit that was made out against a JLP officer, now minister, by a lady now resident in the UK alleging the same crime? What actions did the DPP and Mr. Bailey take then? And has Mr. Bailey finished his work on the matter of the murder at Patrick Bailey's house? Criminality must never be dealt with according to political color. Well, what you have done, thank you for your message, but what you have done is to cast doubt on, or seek to cast doubt on the integrity, the collective integrity of the DPP and Mr. Fitz Bailey, which doesn't help your case at all, because you are coloring your comments to satisfy your soul or satisfy yourself. But we, up to this stage, have absolutely no information and no reason whatsoever to doubt or to question the integrity of Ms. Paula Llewellyn, the DPP, or Mr. Fitz Bailey of the JCF. Of course, we would want those vested with the authority to act in every single case in a uniformed manner, not deviating because of who is at the center of the particular case or the particular matter. But then, even as we seek justice, let's remember to do justice. So we might feel hurt that a big journalist on a particular radio station, as the message says, is hanging on to a particular issue which impacts, as the message says, a PNP official. Now let's remember, one thing following another doesn't necessarily mean that one caused the other or one is the result of the other. So let's be careful. Let's be careful. And there are sanctions for those who misuse or abuse their authority. And unless or until there is such evidence, these two individuals continue to enjoy our confidence and the confidence of the rest of the nation. Here's another message. Mr. Malcolm, good afternoon. We have no water in Independence City, Portmore. All the tanks on my road are empty for over a week now, and we did not get any notice that this was going to happen. Mr. Malcolm, I'm seriously considering selling my house because of the water problem over the years. I have it. I have, something is missing here. It is not healthy to live like this. Unless you're trying to say you have had it. I've had it. It is not healthy to live like this. We're sorry to hear. This is from Spider. We're sorry to hear of your plight, Spider. We hope the matter will be resolved at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, if that's what it comes down to, you're identifying that the situation is not going to change for the better anytime soon. By all means, go ahead and sell your house if you think that's a solution, and find a property in a place where they always have water. We used to live at such a place, actually. Always water, always electricity, always, no matter what is happening in Jamaica. We always had water, always had light. Now, to a large extent, we enjoy that at our current location for the most part, but not like it was at the previous location. So it is. This one says it's after lunch and most people are less alert at that time too. I notice at my job productivity slows down after lunch. In Jamaica, we call it niggeritis. Yeah. Partly, one of the reasons for that is we tend to overeat. We tend to overeat. In other words, we don't feel we are eating unless there is a mountain of food on our plate. We don't feel we are eating unless there's a mountain of food on the plate. Personally, for me, too much food is a turnoff, actually. Too much food is a turnoff. It becomes cloying, or as we say in Jamaican parlance, clyding. It clyding. Cloying is the correct word. Cloying, right? So we need to be mindful of that so that we don't become sluggish after lunch. Right. Thank you very much for your message on WhatsApp. Curtis says, good evening. Still afternoon where we are, Curtis. Good afternoon. He says, to all my father's children, good evening. Good afternoon to all your father's children. Sir Malcolm, it shows you are more knowledgeable than them. Oh, that's in response to what? Sorry. Please remind me. Thank you for your message. Somebody is having a good laugh at my expense. I'm not sure what I said, but this person is laughing like crazy. GMAC says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. The allegation that a journalist was salivating about a statutory rape is totally untrue and dishonest. I was listening and the journalist did no such thing. The person sounds like they were pitting JLP against PNP, which is absurd. I'm glad you took the opportunity to educate him. The journalist was merely reporting, which is what you do. Thank you very much, GMAC, for your message on WhatsApp. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, remember, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And there are so many messages, but not all related to the program. And we're doing our best just to go through, making sure that we don't miss any of the messages. And I think we're satisfied now that we have gone through all of those. Oh, here's the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Let's see, where do we start? Let's go to this one. Good day, sir. What about that blind US student who was kidnapped? Something, well, we don't know that she was kidnapped. We know that she went missing. And it's more than a year now and still nothing. Something is wrong. The police are not coming to us, and this is somebody speculating now. The police are not coming to us clean. Where did those guys get her phone and gave them the PIN number? They must check with Digicel site to see who was in touch with her. And this is from Richie in Mobay. Richie in Mobay, let's give the police some credit and the benefit of the doubt. The police would know what to pursue, and they would have pursued. In fact, I remember in a press conference, they were outlining the fact that yes, they had the phone whoever had the phone or whoever used their card, and they did their investigations. No, it's one thing. All right, one moment, please.
The poor man's wealth is in a...
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:30. Listen to the story of the Jamaican diaspora on Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. That's Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday during both sides of the story, brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Then your reward will be the cemetery.
Yes, so you would recall, Richie, in Mobay, from time to time, the police saying that they're following several leads or they're following a particular lead. Now, having followed, if it leads nowhere, despite their best efforts of getting to the source, then they can't just hold on to the person for any extended period of time, because invariably a lawyer is going to say either you're going to charge my client or you're going to let my client go. In other words, unless there is palpable evidence, unless there is compelling evidence, the individual, perhaps they would have taken the individual's information. In case further evidence is brought to the fore, which connects that individual, and then they can take it up from there. And it's just the way it is. We have to be careful that we're not suggesting that, because as we've said on this program over and over, even the man with the smoking gun deserves his day in court. Now, you might have encountered him with the smoking gun and standing over the body. It doesn't mean that he's guilty. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty. The evidence would have to be gathered and examined and presented in a court in order to arrive at in order to build a case. And you still have to have, that still has to be tested in the court of law and a jury of your peers in the case of a criminal matter, making a decision in the case of jury trials, etc., etc. So let's give the police a little credit and the benefit of the doubt. We have seen in recent times that they really have been trying. The rate at which they are arresting people after these people would have committed a particular crime or crimes has improved significantly. And we're saying this because we're 28 years and counting in media, and working in a newsroom and following news and just getting a sense of whether cases are being, whether people are being arrested and charged and tried, etc., etc. Take for example this story, and here's the update. Granddaughter charged with murder of 84-year-old woman. Granddaughter charged with murder of 84-year-old woman. Now, we're not trying this case here, but it is a fact that a granddaughter has been charged with the murder of her 84-year-old grandmother. Police in Cross Keys, Manchester, have charged 27-year-old Ramelia Rebecca Palkins with the murder of her 84-year-old grandmother, Advira Wilson Palmer, following Monday's stabbing death of the senior citizen. So the stabbing occurred on Monday. 2 days later, on this day, Wednesday, the 24th of March, someone is arrested and charged. That's this kind of speed we're talking about. And we've been seeing a lot of this in recent times, relatively, I would say maybe within the last 3 years, maybe more, but at least within the last 3 years. We've been taking note of the speed with which the police have been acting. But this is a sad story. And again, it is a reminder that most of the crimes committed in Jamaica are a combination of domestic and gang-related. Domestic crimes and gang-related crimes. So we still have some misguided boys. They're really boys. A lot of them are boys. They haven't even become men yet. A lot of these misguided boys, for whatever reason, find themselves in a situation where they have to, as we say in Jamaican parlance, chuck it and chuck badness. And a lot of chucking of badness has been happening. And they learn to defend turf, and they have to do certain things to demonstrate that they are tough enough and they can deal with the situation. And they try to run communities or run street and run lane. And they'll tell you, oh, we run this. And nobody from over so can come over here, so. And chances are they don't even own I wouldn't even say a piece of land, much less a birth certificate or a driver's license. But all of a sudden, them own the whole of the community here. And we around the community. Really? Please. So we have that situation where these gangsters, that's the lifestyle that they have chosen, that they know, and that is supported by trap music, supported by the kind of lyrical content that talk about how high marrow I go fly. And from a boy, this we no want know how, send for the gun them now. And we get the thing them out of luck now. We squeeze 7 and the whole of them a duck now. It's a reality. So they're supported and bolstered and entertained by a lot of these so-called artists. Because everybody is an artist. And so that kind of underbelly of our country, of our society, gets stronger every day, apparently. Because they have people who support them. They have people who support them. So you have the gang violence, people who are defend turf. And in Jamaica, dissing is a big thing. I think it was Dion Jackson Miller or some other reporter or journalist did a feature on dissing in Jamaica. The worst thing you can do is diss a man in Jamaica. Because if you diss a man will go for him irons and show you something. Whether the irons that him own or him borrow or him rent. Because you can rent guns in Jamaica too, apparently. Some man no want a man diss him. It boils down to ego. Man's biggest problem is a 3-letter word. E-G-O. Ego. So you have the inter-gang violence, which permeates a lot of our communities. And it doesn't help that close to 800,000 of our people live in informal communities, informal settlements. That's a breeding ground for crime and criminality. There are no fixed addresses in that area. There are no clear driveways or walkways. There are mere pathways. And if the man them can see the police before the police see them, the police are in trouble. I've been through certain communities in Montego Bay, for example, the greater Montego Bay area. And as I'm going through these communities, I'm saying, my God, but this is a death trap. It's a death trap. And so the sooner we create normal communities, in terms of, when I say normal, properly run electricity, roads, infrastructure, water, addresses, you know, yeah. A lot of our people operate under the radar, underground, under the radar. And the culture also breeds that, because it's a culture where you just know, man, oh, yeah, say Chuko. Yeah, man, Chuko. So when somebody says, yeah, my youth, you know, John Brown. I said, John Brown. No, sir, I don't know no John Brown. And him tall, and him fat. Oh, you mean Chuko? Yeah, man, Chuko. Mind you, that's under normal circumstances, certain people are not going to give you that information that quickly. They're just going, they don't know who you are, come looking for Chuko. Who are you to come asking for Chuko? So we use aliases, and a lot of us, we have known people by their aliases from childhood days all the way up. So we don't even know their full names. And so it breeds, man, this problem is, it is not beyond us, but it is so evident, it's obvious where the weaknesses are. It's quite obvious where the weaknesses are. So there's that. So we have a lot of intergang violence, which spreads, which impacts the communities in which the gangs are allowed to operate. Communities in which the gangs are allowed to operate. And a lot of it is just sheer idleness. You have man a bus gun at night time. All them doing is just firing shots. Just firing, because they're trying to demonstrate their firepower. They want everybody else within the precincts, within that area, to know that they have a certain level of firepower. Hey, you hear them gun them, oh, yeah, man. But the woman being interviewed on TV in one of our inner city communities some years ago said, we not bust our gun them over there, so, or something to that. This is real. This is the underbelly of our society. And until and unless we deal with it, it's going to continue. So we have those gang related, but then there are the domestic violence cases. Can you imagine sister plotting to kill sister, granddaughter, involved in the murder of grandmother, father killing son, son killing mother? Lot of domestics. People are fight over dumpling. Oh, me get 3 dumpling and him get 5. Dumpling. People fight over dumpling. People fighting over the remote. And that is universal. And you have universal remotes as well. All over the world, actually. But not least of all here in Jamaica. Fighting over remote. And because when we use the Jamaican language in its crudest form, it can rub you the wrong way quite easily. When a man call you a certain name, and yeah, it rub you the wrong way quite easily. And so you get vile. As we say in Jamaica, we get vile. Yeah. And we want to do him something or do her something. Because our words, it is true. We have known this for a long time, the impact of words. But you see some Jamaican words, when we send it out with the crudeness, the crudity, and the crassness, that is the dissing that takes place. And it happens in families and in communities and in gangs. And we have what we have. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
I save because one day my little business is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and I make sure to put away a little something for my son. Better safe than sorry.
And thanks to JDIC, deposit insurance protection on my savings gone up.
You've been upgraded. Deposits held in commercial banks, building societies, and merchant banks are covered under the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme up to $1.2 million per depositor per institution.
The JDIC is big protection for every little thing that matters to me.
No, that's name real upgrade.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Both sides of the story.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm to join in a series of discussions on building a strong relationship with your child. We invite children to call in and voice their concerns. This broadcast is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, Every Child Deserves Protection, Margins Pharmacy, and Community Meds Pharmacy. That's a live broadcast of Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday, right here on Power 106 FM.
Sides of the story.
Destruction of a home.
We don't have, knock on wood, up to this point, we really don't have random killings in Jamaica. And we're knocking on wood and we're hoping and praying and working to ensure that we don't get to that stage. As my late mother would say, something in a something. Something always in a something when something happen in Jamaica. It's always something in a something. Now, there are times when whoever has a vendetta gets information that the individual is at Mr. Brown's shop, play domino, and that's all the information we need. And we go for the gun, and we stake out Mr. Brown's shop. We position ourselves, and we go for whoever we go for. Now, there are other people around. So some of these individuals then panic, right? They expected to just take out one person. And then they end up firing wildly as they try to escape, as they try to get away from the area. Because they always run away. They always run away unless they are disabled. They always run away. So no matter how a man go on like him bad, and a man a wicked man, and man a top down and whatever, they always run away. And if you catch them one away, as we say in Jamaica, some of them cry like baby. Yeah. So there is that. So when we have multiples, sadly, that's one of the scenarios. They don't go there necessarily to kill everybody there. But in their bid to scare off everybody there and for they themselves to get out of there, lest any police car might be driving by nearby and hears the gunshots, with the police hearing gunshots and so on. And so that is that is the situation. We could add a lot more to it, but we'll leave it there for now. When did we get to this stage where we are killing our family members, our own flesh and blood? Then if we can kill our own flesh and blood with the kind of frequency that we do in Jamaica, then how much easier is it to kill somebody who we are unrelated to? Yeah. Let's leave it there for now and clear these messages. Hello to Rose McIntosh in London. She says, good evening, Malcolm. Well, it's evening in the UK, still afternoon here in Jamaica. Blessings to all the listeners and YouTubers as usual, she says. Kelvin Lee, otherwise known as Vision, says, bless up Mr. Malcolm. So true about how we are as a people. Kevin Dunk says, probably too many tipple martinis with lunch. He says, I know referring to the victim as the Bling girl placed emphasis on the issue. However, I believe it is more appropriate to refer to her by her name and her disability as subtext. I'm splitting hair. Kevin says, how we as a society capture the minds of our boys before the bad elements in our society get to them first. Yeah, well, this is it. This is it. Tony Leng, the late Tony Leng, used to say, we left it up. And apparently, we allow, here's the thing, the experts tell us that our girls develop much earlier than our boys. They mature earlier than our boys. That's what the experts have told us for a long time. And so imagine this. So the girls who mature much earlier than boys in all kinds of ways, they are shielded, they are protected, they are guarded, they are kept under lockdown for the most part. The boys who take a little time to mature, a little more time to mature, in their state of immaturity, are left to run wild. So while the boys are running wild in their state of immaturity, all kinds of things happen. And before you know it, those who mean our boys no good take control of our boys in gangs, whether of a street corner nature or otherwise, etc. That's a part of the problem. Kevin says, dissing is so subjective now. The receiver of the diss determines the magnitude of the diss. I guess we need a standardized dissing policy. Kevin Dunk questions, tongue in cheek. Thank you for your message, Kevin Dunk. Let's look at some of the other messages that are popping up on the various platforms. Let's see. Good afternoon to Robledo Black Pearl. Michelle Errol in New Jersey. Faye Weller says, blessed love, Mr. Dervan and everyone. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester says, good afternoon to you too, Nicola. Dainty Walker, good afternoon to you. Robledo Black Pearl. Michelle says, LOL, we are a loud people. Amen. But we are blessed and talented. Chuck Ray says, Chris Dixon, in reference to Beverly, and still pay $20,000 to stay in a hotel for 3 days. They're talking about the restrictions and requirements traveling in and out of Canada. Beverly says $20,000 highway robbery. Jean Small, you mean there's a name for it? She exclaims with an emoji laughing to the point of tears and lunchtime in brackets. Thank you very much, Gene Small. I think that's the legendary Gene Small, isn't it? Norman Hines, good afternoon to you too. Thanks for tuning in. And all the others who are messaging us. Let's see if we can clear a few more. Yeah, we dealt with Rich's message already. Let's go to Miss Evadne. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and all at Poro 106. Blessings to all in class, especially to Miss Olive, hoping that she will get well soon and keep on being cheerful. Nuff love and God's blessings from Evadne. All the best to you, Miss Evadne. Take care. This one says, Mr. Malcolm, don't forget that you have unscrupulous workers within certain institutions. I'm sorry, I think I took a commercial break at that point. I didn't get around to throwing that into the mix. You are perfectly correct that there are within certain institutions, but it has to be. How do you explain some of these robberies if there isn't someone on the inside? There has to be someone on the inside who is able to give information on the setup, where the cameras are, the busiest time of day, the busiest day of the week, etc., etc. Right. So, Mr. Malcolm, don't forget that you have unscrupulous workers within certain institutions, banks, etc., working with criminals on the outside and feeding them with information on certain people withdrawing large sums of money. That happens as well. Thank you. I think we had taken a commercial break at the time when I had planned to come back from the break to add that, to put that into the mix. Thank you very much. Michael in St. Anne's Bay says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I am thinking that if it is so difficult to have people who we consider to be of good moral standards comply with the request of wearing a mask in public, then it must be a mountainous task for the constabulary force to have criminal-minded people refrain from committing a crime. From Michael in St. Anne's Bay. Well, so it is. People have their reasons why they do certain things or don't do certain things. And there are those of us, once the mind is made up, once we have made up the mind to do a particular thing, we are going to do it. And I've heard the police commissioner say as much. My plan is to murder so-and-so. I am going to murder him. But watch our language as well in Jamaica. That's part of the culture, isn't it? When we talk about our I go and murder you, you see, Pickney? Go on ramp, I go and murder you. That's what we tell our children. Some of us. When I done murder you, you see, Pickney? And if so and so and so, may we kill you, you know? Yeah, all these expressions. You ever see some Jamaicans when we're ramping? We're ramping with knife, you know, running down somebody or holding the knife to the person's throat. Ramp, we say we're ramp, you know, in Jamaica. And our favorite fingers are the gun fingers. The gun fingers. And even when we're playing, hey boy, me shoot you, you know. Yeah. And this sooner or later becomes real. Yeah. Because people shoot them friend and them family members. And them stab up them family members and them friend and them spouse. We are a conflicted people. Let's see who else is messaging us. Rose McIntosh says, so true, Mr. Malcolm, teacher. Crocs O'Dial says, hypocrisy in Jamaica knows no bounds. On whose authority is it given that the DPP and Fitzbailey enjoy the confidence of the majority of Jamaicans? one should not project one's sentiments to all. Well, again, Crocodile, we have no information up to this point which would bring the integrity of the DPP or Fitzbailey's character into disrepute. None whatsoever, Crocodile. And if you have that information and you are sitting on it, Crocodile, you are doubly guilty of a crime. If you have such information and you're sitting on it, you would then be the hypocrite. One moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Both sides of the story.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm to join in a series of discussions on building a strong relationship with your child. We invite children to call in and voice their concerns. This broadcast is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, Every Child Deserves Protection, Margins Pharmacy, and Community Meds Pharmacy. That's a live broadcast of Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm at 3:30 p.m. This and every Tuesday, right here on Power 106 FM.
Diaspora Check-In during Both Sides of the Story was brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
The lips of the righteous teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:03. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:03. Hiện tại, thời gian là 4:03. 3 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Here is an update, West Indies versus Sri Lanka. This is day 4, session 3 on day 4 of the first test match being played at North Sound in Antigua, more precisely at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. The scores, well, Sri Lanka were bowled out for 476 in their second innings. Bowled out for 476, setting the West Indies a target of 375 runs to win the first test match. That's the target the West Indies have been set, 375. They have started their reply. They're 24 for 1. John Campbell was out for, he was caught by wicketkeeper Dick Weller off the bowling of MVT Fernando for 11. So John Campbell out for 11. The batsman at the crease, Captain Craig Brathwaite, who has faced 40 balls for 6 runs. Nkrumah Bonner is on 7, having faced 18 deliveries. Suranga Lakmal and Vishwa Fernando are bowling. And so the West Indies now need 351 runs to win. So they'll first have to see out this 4th day's play, and then to come out fresh in the morning, all things being well, to try and play positive cricket. Drop the ball at your, depending on where the wicketkeeper is, drop the ball at your feet and run. Pick up some 1s and 2s. Put away the bad balls when those come. When you hit a 6 or a 4, don't get too carried away. Just remember that the bowler would not have enjoyed being hit for a 6 or a 4. And the bowler will be trying something to get you out. Worse, you go and lick the man, so to speak. You hit the man, hit his delivery for 6 or 4. He's going to come back at you. So don't, well, they're not hearing me. They're on the field. The 2 batsmen are out there. They're not hearing me, and the other players are in the pavilion watching the match intently, and perhaps the most they'll be listening to now is commentary or music, depending on what makes them tick. But anyway, the scores: Sri Lanka 169 and 476, West Indies 271 and 25 for 1. Let's see what happens for the rest of today and ultimately tomorrow. But it's been quite an intriguing test match so far. A battle of attrition, as they say. And we wish both teams well. All the very best. And let's see. Who else is messaging us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Beverline in Toronto, Canada, still online. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. I'm still listening. Good afternoon, Cherry Henry. Thank you very much. And here is an email message. This is a rarity. The email address is bothsides106@live.com. Both sides 106@live.com. All right, here we go. This person says, Dear Mr. Malcolm, great afternoon to you and the Both Sides family. I wrote the following. If you think it's fitting, please read it on air whenever you like. I do have a poor man's copyright, but no one will take a line from it because I heard you dare them to speak out over the years. Too many become disabled gunmen. Thank you. So this is from Janet Edwards. Let's see. No, I'm not sure if is this dub poetry, Janet? You have put on gun 3 times. All right. Put on gun, put on gun, put on gun. Put on the gun, me say, for put on the gun. Put on the gun, me say, for put on the gun. You know, idiot man, fear shoot your brother down. Step in at the light, cause you done born bright. No matter what you plight, killing your brother, that not right. Gang life look sweet until your dear come. Put on the gun, myself, put on the gun. Put on the gun, myself, put on the gun. You're born out of the same belly, eat out of the same pot, living at the same yard, now separated by fools who tell you part of them crew. Man, your family alive, remember where you come from. No take leave of absence from your wisdom. Put on the gun, myself, put on the gun. You no idiot man fear shoot your brother down. Step in at the light cause you done born bright. You a waste man now, or them turn you in a goon. Pity you no sister them enslave you. Put on the gun. Myself put on the gun. So put on the gun, myself put on the gun. You make man a send you out. Figure blood up the town. Anything you are kill, anything you kill, I must what you can't eat. You're not cannibal. So I make you do it. Free yourself, man, and take back your head. Don't be controlled by a walking dead. Thank you very much, Janet Edwards, for sharing your poem. Thank you very much. Let's check in with another of the messages. There are so many platforms to keep track of, such is the nature of social media these days. So many platforms to keep track of. And the messages of all kind are coming in. Let's go to this one. Curtis says, those who claim to be experts on crime, it is in the hands of the DPP now, so they are waiting on her. Thank you, Curtis. Spider in Kingston says, good afternoon again, Mr. Malcolm. You can't have any music with words they call bad words, but yet we allowed these so-called entertainers with sounds of murder and mayhem, and they are free to do so. What type of country are we running? The guys are doing what the song telling them to do. I see it every day. Well, there are those of us who, and even right now, those who are bombarded with these sounds, but they have not acted on the lyrical content, the urgings via the lyrical content. So those are unaffected. Usually, those are individuals who are grounded, individuals who know themselves, individuals who have a sense of purpose, usually. So those will not be swayed, no matter what the lyrical content, no matter what the lyrical content. And there are others who, depending, and I love to observe people. I do that every single day. Every single day, I will just sit at a spot and I'll observe, and I will listen as well. And there are those who are so driven. In fact, it's like you're in your car and you are enjoying the music so much, and it doesn't have to be music with violent lyrical content, but you're in a good mood and you step on the gas and so the music does have an impact. How many times do we see people in their vehicles bobbing? They're bobbing to the music. The music has an effect. And some of us, if we're feeling it enough, will step on the gas depending on where we are. Because that's the vibe, that's the music. And it's the same sense that one gets. Same feeling, same emotional arousal when the lyrical content is of a violent nature. That's the idea. Looks like somebody is baking up a storm here. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester, sending us pictures. Looks like it's going to be pizza time again. Oops, too late. She said private message. Good afternoon. Too late. You know, if you're going to send this kind of thing on on this company phone, which is the text line and the WhatsApp number. Anyway, finishing up soon. Hoping to share via call during the program, but I've been busy in the kitchen still at. Well, do what you have to do. Don't mind us. You just do what you have to do, and we wish you and your family well. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Hey, you see these days, it's good to get straight to the point. Quick and easy. That's why Western Union gives you another way to receive money straight to your bank account with Western Union's direct-to-bank money transfer. Visit a Western Union agent location and sign up now and tell your family and friends to send your next Western Union money transfer directly to your bank account in Jamaica. It's easy. Visit a Western Union location or call our call center at 876-926-2454. Sign up today to receive a money transfer directly to your bank account with ease with Western Union. Moving money for better.
The Gleaner Premium will excite your digital media experience, satisfy your appetite for exclusive stories and special access to editors' fora, videos, podcasts, and much more. To subscribe, go to jamaica-gleaner.com/premium and select the e-Gleaner or website option. Welcome to your new digital experience, the Gleaner Premium.
Free premium access to unlimited news and value-added offerings. Limited time offer ends soon.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Lloyd, somewhere in the United States, busy doing deliveries for Amazon, says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Hello to Jamaica." Mr. Dervan, as I hear you talking about thief, don't you know that one of my friends is in Jamaica right now? And he went to the bank in Halfway Tree and pulled some money out to take care of some business. Then, so them trail him to his business place and broke into his car and took all the money out. Not a small amount either. Big sum of money. On my way from Richmond, Virginia, going home to Philadelphia now. Love always. Excuse my texting. I'm driving. Well, please don't text and drive. I beg you, please, Lloyd. Please do not text and drive. I read some years ago that texting and driving is the equivalent of being, I can't remember the exact terminology, but it's the equivalent of being thrice drunk, like 3 times drunk. Texting and driving. That's how dangerous it is. So please, Lloyd, please, not on our account. Please do not text and drive. Please. Here's a call coming through from Richie Nebar, somewhere in Massachusetts. I see you have shaved your head like me.
That's the whole picture. Now it's like the amount of hair now on my head now I could sense. If you see me today, you would say, "My God, he's 100 years old." I gotta go to the hairdresser and get a good shave. So how you doing, sir?
I am fine, thanks. How are you? And how are things where you are in Massachusetts?
Well, most of my state has been vaccinated. I myself have been vaccinated with my double dose. Doing good. First, second dose, I had a little under the weather, but after a day, I'm good, and we're climbing again. Slowly but gradually.
So how do you now operate, considering, especially knowing that you have that you have the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine? How does that impact?
Mask.
Yes. Go
we
ahead.
still wear a mask and we be careful, but we are at a higher risk. Not a risk. We're at a higher protective percentage where if we should get encounter with the virus, we will not be hospitalized or it will not kill us.
And you know, that is the important point that needs to be made. You want to be able
Yes, sir. Yes,
to
sir.
to to
Yes,
to,
sir.
to protect yourself, to try as much as possible to ensure you don't get into the hospital, because as it is now, our numbers are going through the roof. I think I heard 433 people in hospital. I think that's the last figure I saw. Yeah, serious.
Right. And yes. And you know, the only thing that is going to bring down this rate and end this pandemic is the vaccine.
Yeah.
We're gone too far into this. We have no way of getting out of this overnight unless we were to take the vaccine and be all vaccinated.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I am so happy that I'm vaccinated, because in less than a week I'll be on the island to take a break, and I'll be feeling very comfortable. I still have my guards up, but I will be a little relaxed knowing that I'm vaccinated.
Well, you are not the first, and I'm sure you won't be the last Jamaican to be feeling homesick at this time.
Right, I am.
Yes.
This September will make it 2 years, and that is, I'm burnt out right now. If I'm not careful, I could lose my mind.
No, we don't want that to happen. So do what you have to do to take care of your mental health.
Right. I'm not mentally yet, but I could, you know.
No.
That's why I make the decision.
Mental health. I mean, it's just like your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we're not saying that you have mental health issues. I mean, we all do anyway.
Just declare.
All of us, I think.
We do at a percentage of time. We have a little anxiety.
Dr. Earl Wright, I think
I
it
like
was.
how you put it.
Yeah, I think it was Dr. Earl Wright in a report that was published. It made the front page of the Gleaner some years ago, essentially telling us that each of us has, we do have mental health issues, and we will always have mental health issues. It's just a function of how we manage our mental health that will determine how we overcome, if we overcome.
Right. I just share something with you. I snore really bad, so I use a machine, a sleep app machine, and I'm tired and I forget to put the mask on and turn the machine on. When I get up in the morning, I have a little anxiety. And the nights that I use it, I get up feeling like a brand new person.
Oh. Yeah, well, you maybe need to set an alarm to remind yourself.
Well, you know, my bad habits, one of my bad habits, that's the one habit out of all the bad ones, is that I go to my bed too late. And then I crawl in my bed and not remembering that I need to throw it on. Running up the staircase to go upstairs, I got to really relax a little, because that little elevation that I put my art into, when I go upstairs, I got to wait 10 minutes before I put on the mask, so my breathing pattern will return to normal.
Yes.
And sometime I lay down and that 10 minutes is what put me away.
I see. Yeah, well, you continue to protect yourself, even though you have gotten both doses.
Yes. And I've known over 4,000 people around me that have gotten theirs and still in A1 performance and not sick or not having any problems.
Well,
the first person was my wife, and she had the vaccine 2 months before me, about not fully, but about in that time. And then I said, yes, I'm ready, because I know I have to take a break and I have to be traveling, and I know I'm going to be in contact with people who doesn't believe in the vaccine. And I said, I have to protect myself. I am not going to let myself exposed to challenge COVID on my own.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to say though that when you're heads of a country or the heads of the government and you're trying to encourage people to take a vaccine to be vaccinated, you are the first one should be in the front line to take it. Now, when you don't do that, you put yourself at risk, and for people to think that something bad is in the vaccine.
Yeah.
And we need to be realized as head of the country or head of the government or people in authority that we got to set an example. And if we're going to say to a person, take it, and then turn around and said, we give you a couple of dollars to take it, but we're not taking it, then what message are we sending?
No, I don't know of anybody in Jamaica at that level saying they're not going to take it. The health minister has taken the vaccine. The prime minister has taken the vaccine. The prime minister's wife, former prime ministers Patterson and Golding, Hugh Shearer's widow, Mrs. Professor Eldermeyer Shearer. A lot of notable Jamaicans and everyday Jamaicans are lining up. I think we have gone, is it more than 16,000 or 17,000 vaccinations? I don't have the latest numbers, but
very good.
Yes. And we're going to be having a bit of a vaccination blitz on Saturday, we're told, in the national arena. Among other such, and vaccinations are taking place all across the country.
And I can see that we're not short of vaccinators.
Yeah, the vaccines.
If you're following what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes, I'm saying we're not short of vaccinators. That's the people who give it.
Yes.
So we're pretty good.
Right.
Mr. Malcolm, one thing I want to share with you and remind a lot of people, today in modern science and with the modern age of advanced technology and computer and in other world linking together, other countries linking together, we can develop a vaccine today in a less than a year that would take us 10 years in the past. So let's people not think it was orally and rushed up. I have a friend who works into the lab and he works up to 22 hours per day to push the formula for the vaccine and to put it together. And we in the US, I know the US version of the vaccine have been over tested. We have tested the vaccine more than we should to make sure that people are getting the best vaccine. And I know what are they called? Say the name of them again.
What's that?
Moderna and Pfizer and the Johnson, Moderna and Pfizer and the Johnson have done a lot of testing, more than what we should have tested them. So I know those three are very safe. I can't say anything about the other vaccines, and and I sure know that
all the vaccines that are being used right now,
I give the Indians credit. Not because of my heritage. I give the Indians credit in their in the time they spend in the University of New Delhi, India. I know professors there. I have relatives who are professors in the lab that have done a lot of researches, and I'm confident that new vaccine that they have on their market here.
Well, they don't.
I would advise.
They don't have their own vaccines in India. What they have is a license from the makers to produce the vaccines. Yes.
Right. And they have overkilled the research on it. And I think I advise everyone, for us to return to a normal life, we need this vaccine.
So it is.
And I wish everyone would just listen to me and let us get past this. We have a life and we want to move on. Thank you very much this afternoon for listening to me. God bless you, and I appreciate your time. And the station, more power to you guys.
Thank you very much. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Que hora es en español? Son las 4:20 29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4h29. Tiens, ça, TDN le. 29 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people.
The lips of the righteous teaches.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Listen to the story of the Jamaican diaspora on Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. That's Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday during both sides of the story, brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today. Diaspora Check-In during both sides of the story is brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy
Thanks a lot for staying with us. Que hora es en español? Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h29. 现在几点了？5点加20分。29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children, a good time for us to bring to you this week's edition of Diaspora Check-In. And we have a couple of guests waiting in the wings. But first, let's say hello and welcome to the CEO of PK Media Limited, Mr. Paul Harrison. Good afternoon, Paul Harrison. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, Dervan. Very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Diaspora Check-In during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. We're anxious to get an update on your latest or most recent pursuits. We know you're always up to something good. How are things going with you and your team at PK Media Limited? And what's the project of the moment?
Well, Dervan, as you know, I've been working with Wallace International Foods for distributors, importers and distributors for over 3+ years. And I'm head of communities. And we've been working on lots of exciting projects. One of them of recent, as though Honey Bun is currently being sold in the Tesco stores. But we've upped the pace, and Honey Bun is now launched in over 347 Tesco's locations in the UK, and that's good news for Honey Bun. That's only one.
Yeah. Yeah, just a moment. Pause, Paul Harrison, please, as we welcome Commercial Director at Wanis International Foods, Mr. George Phillips. It's been a while. How are you?
Hello, Dervan. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Great, good to talk with you. Sorry, Paul Harrison, you just finish what you were saying a short while ago.
Well, actually, even before I go on, let me just welcome George. So we work together at Onis, and this is one of the projects Honeybun, along with the team at Onis, George has been working on. George, you just want to give Dervan an update?
Well, let's hear about One is International Foods first, George Phillips.
Okay, well, I'll try and give a sort of a 1 minute overview, Dervan. So, we're an international foods business, plain and simple. So we distribute brands from around the world, historically from the Caribbean and African countries. But more recently, we've spread to the wider international field. So we distribute brands from the Far East and India, China. So we've become very much a sort of international food importer and distributor. But our heritage is brands from, we handle a number of brands from Jamaica, Honeybun obviously being one of the major ones, and also from the wider Caribbean. So that's really our business, and we sell to actually everyone in the UK. So we sell to a lot of local shops, but we sell to the supermarkets, a lot online. Actually, online shopping is very popular here, partly because of the lockdown. Food service customers, and we export also from the UK to Europe and to other markets around the world.
What categories? Can you give us a general idea of the category of foods that you specialize in at One is International?
Actually, almost everything, but the kind of core of our business, I suppose, would be we do a lot of drinks. We sell alcoholic drinks. So we import, for example, from Jamaica, we import Red Stripe and Dragon Stout. We import Carib from Trinidad. So we do quite a lot of beers. But our main business is soft drinks and I would say grocery items. So typically things like beans, powders, sauces, those sorts of products. So, relatively speaking, everyday grocery items.
Yeah. And Paul Harrison, Easter is big in the Jamaican community, whether here at home or in the UK. And therefore, that is for Honeybun to be getting pride of place in these Tesco outlets. That would have taken some doing. Who proposed?
Well, Tesco's have been carrying Honeybun since 2013. So, this is an ongoing relationship. But of course, the relationships get stronger and stronger every year.
Yes.
So, and I'm quite excited about the whole thing because we've definitely introduced Tesco's to other known people behind Honeybun. Oliver Samuel did an amazing advert, which we placed on some of the radio stations and some print run and social media. And you got to look out for Oliver's advert on Honeybun. I know he's doing a national Honeybun on your national TV because they brought out a new product, which is a new range called the Slice Honeybun, which is due to come to the UK because that's a new one, isn't it, George?
Yes, it is, and I think we'd be fair to say it'll be the first slice bun in the UK. And I think just adding to what Paul has said, Dervan, what's particularly important, I think, for us and Honeybun, Tesco's a leading retailer in the UK. They have been for many years, and consequently, they're perhaps the toughest to work with. They're the market leaders. So I think for us to be able to get Honeybun into national distribution in Tesco, and particularly around Easter, they feature, they do an Easter sort of World Foods event, I think you could call it that, and they have a Caribbean gondola end in their 150 odd biggest stores, and I think the key for us was getting Honeybun onto that. So when consumers are going in and buying for Easter, there's a gondola end full of primarily Jamaican products, to be fair, So, that was really important for us to get honey bun in there and seen to be kind of one of the key Easter products. But you're quite right. I mean, it's a big event in Jamaica and it's a big event here, and bun and cheese is as big in the Jamaican community in the UK as it is at home.
And for those in Jamaica, manufacturers here at home who know that their products have long been hits with Jamaicans at home and abroad, and would love to be experiencing, for example, what Honey Bun has been experiencing. Paul Harrison, how do you suggest that they approach trying to break into the UK market, for example?
Well, I mean, we're always sort of building our relationships continually with our partners and those that we represent, because Wanis represents another additional 35 brands in Jamaica. But, I must say I'm always very thankful, because a couple of years ago I had the opportunity to go over to Kingston, where the headquarters office is, Honey Bun. As many of you know, Honey Bun's been established since 1982, well established, and very proud of an amazing product. And obviously there's other additional ranges that they have. And so, I always actually want to, for us to do more business. And that's one of the reasons why, we've been spending additional money on advertising and pushing, getting iconic people behind the brand, like Oliver Samuels, who's been an amazing vehicle in channeling the product, in saying, yes, come on, Caribbean friends of Jamaica, and all of those that want to get behind the brand, let's push this out there. Hey, this is the taste of Jamaica, right to your doorsteps as we celebrate Easter. And obviously with the COVID-19 and all what's going on, we can't travel, it's so many restrictions, but, we're very thankful that we are pushing Honey Bun, pushing the brand right into the UK and all over. So we've got independent stores, which we have all over the country, from Manchester to, we just big up all those independent stores out there all over the country that stocked up with the Honey Bun. So we're asking everybody, please, let's get out there. Let's take all of these buns off the shelf, because we want to do more business, bring more products from Jamaica, more products from Honey Bun into the UK market. And I'm so glad as well, that the team that I work with, the marketing team that I work with, as well as the CEO, the director, we've got a dynamic team. And I know George has got a lot of history behind him. And I also work as the head of community with Wanis. And as I said before, Dervan, we were actually going to Jamaica just before the COVID took place last year, but it's something that we do every year. We go to Jamaica, we have fellowship with our partners and see how we can do more business to bring business into the UK, to bring more imports into the UK. And I just want to say thank you again to Honourable Audley Shaw. It's very challenging at this time, but as a relationship company that we are, we want to do more business with Jamaica. And if anybody wants to email me, please feel free, p.harrison@wanis.com, or you can email George as well. That's George
at wanis.com. And I think Dervan, just to add to what Paul was saying, we are open to introduce more brands into the UK. So I think for a Jamaican producer looking at the UK, please talk to us. Yes. We'll never say no to a brand or a manufacturer looking to try and get a foothold in the UK or in Europe for that matter. So we would talk to anyone who's trying to get their first foothold in Europe.
And how have the Jamaican brands been doing in terms of meeting all the criteria for breaking into the UK market through Wanis International Foods?
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I've been, as you know, I've been in the, I suppose you could say, in the Jamaican food business for about 15 years. And the acceptance, and actually, while there's a Jamaican community, of course, who will always search for the brands they know. So you have a loyal Jamaican community who will buy brand Jamaica. But what I've seen is a dramatic change in the acceptance of Jamaican brands in the wider, what we would call the more mainstream consumer. So, and what we found particularly actually through two channels. One is through the major supermarkets, and one is through the big wholesalers. Big wholesalers, of course, don't only access the Jamaican and Caribbean stores; they access all the other independent and convenience stores across the country. So we found a much greater acceptance for what I'd loosely call exotic food, but actually the Jamaican brands fit that very well. So the wider community, it's not yet as popular as something like Indian food, which, as everyone knows, Britain's favourite dish is chicken tikka. So it's we haven't got there yet.
Sorry, one moment. Let's just take a quick break and come back and wrap.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Listen to the story of the Jamaican diaspora on Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. That's Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday during both sides of the story, brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在地点了5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Well, clearly, Wanis International Foods has been very productive, and so too PK Media Limited. George Phillips is Commercial Director at Wanis International Foods, and Paul Harrison, CEO, PK Media Limited. They've been giving us some insights into the commercial activity within the, especially as it relates to Jamaican products, Caribbean products, because Wanis International Foods is, as its name suggests, trades in international foods, and Jamaica is in that mix. And so George Phillips and Paul Harrison are our guests on this week's edition of Diaspora Check-In here on both sides of the story. So George Phillips, we're not exactly there yet in terms of the kind of market share that Indian products have in the UK, but it's not beyond us, is it, to expand our market share?
No, it's absolutely not, Dervan. And I think the way I see it is Jamaican brands are growing in popularity. And actually, what's really helped in the last 12 months, funnily enough, is the pandemic and the lockdown. And most of your listeners will have heard that we've suffered pretty much a 12-month lockdown. And what it means is we've seen a huge increase in people at home having to go to stores. All the restaurants have been shut. There hasn't been a restaurant in the UK open with a couple of weeks gap since March of last year. So people are buying food in the stores, they're taking them home and they're cooking. And you say, okay, that's fine. But actually people are getting very much more adventurous. So all the experiences they would get by going out to restaurants, going to Caribbean restaurants in London, for example, or Birmingham or Manchester, people are beginning to experiment at home. And what we're seeing through the shops is a significant upsurge in the sales of Jamaican brands beyond the core Jamaican community. So I think it's kind of combination of the growth of popularity of the brands, but actually the circumstances of the past 12 months, And those two things together, certainly in the last 12 months, we've seen a dramatic increase in sales to shops of products imported from Jamaica across a wide range of products: drinks, grocery, sauces, seasonings. I'll call another brand, Better Pack Curry, has been immensely popular. So, it's as I say, it's a sort of combination of events, and I think evolution of people's eating here. The British have traditionally been very conservative in their eating habits, and I think it's fair to say we're getting a little more open-minded in what we eat, and the benefit is to the brand.
Yes. Paul Harrison, will you be having any in-store promotions, especially of Easter-centric type activity for Jamaican, and in particular in the communities where Jamaicans are heavily concentrated, for example? Or is it just advertising on local media?
On local media, it's been quite challenging, obviously, with COVID-19 and government restrictions, and we do follow the guidelines, because that's very, very important. Everybody needs to be kept safe. But, we do also work a lot with the local radio stations, community radio stations. That's also helping the diaspora, which we're very pleased to do. Myself as a media agency for over 17 years, I've worked with a load of community groups stretching from Birmingham to Manchester and in London. And all those relationships are still there. Wallace has been established since 1964, which is very much a family business. And, it's been a privilege to work with the team here because it's family orientated. And, we do so into people's lives. And we believe, and we also have a very good working relationship with a lot of the independent stores, as well as the superstores like Tesco's and others. So this is all beneficial because, some things that I find as people continue to grow is that you break relationships. And one of the things that we try to do, especially in the company that I work for, is continue to maintain and build those relationships. And that's one of the things that we have been continuing to do. And as I said before, and that's one of the reasons why every other year we try and go to Jamaica, meet with the 35 plus partners and see how we can import more products into the UK market. So this is all very positive, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. We hope that, everybody out there, or your listeners, will stay safe, listen to the government guide rules, and hopefully very soon, the corridors will be open and we'll be in Jamaica soon.
Looking forward to that. In the meantime, go ahead once again with those email addresses for those listening to us. Maybe they're in the manufacturing business, the export business. Maybe they have brands that they think is worthy of the market that Wanis International Foods supplies. Please, Paul Harrison, remind us of those email addresses.
Yeah, if you can contact us, please feel to contact us at p.harrison@wanis.com or george@wanis.com. And just before I go, I just want you to listen to a very familiar voice.
Greetings from Yard. This is Oliver Samuels, and I just want to say the only bun I hope you get this Easter is honey bun spice bun. I wish no other type of bun for you, my friend. Honey bun spice bun is the nicest bun ever. Available right here in the UK at selected Tesco's and independent stores. It's filled with the right amount of spices, fruits, raisins, and it's just soft and nice. So I hope you get bun. Honey bun spice bun, the right kind of bun for Yard.
Oh, thanks, Oliver.
The great Oliver Sam.
Yes, indeed. Enough said. We don't need to add any more to it. He has capped it all. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And we look forward to keeping in touch. You're welcome. Anytime.
We too, and thank you very much for your time, Dervan.
Yes, it's been a pleasure. Thank you both so much. All the very best.
All right. Have a nice day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. Paul Harrison, CEO of PK Media Limited, and George Phillips, Commercial Director of Wanis International Foods, giving us an insight into the developments in the what do you call it, the uh, Caribbean centric market, uh, the Jamaican products and other regional products and diaspora related products, but in particular they are big on promoting and assisting Jamaican businesses here at home to access the food market in the United Kingdom, and they have already some very strong brands. Not least of all, Honeybun, which is available in 347 Tesco locations across the United Kingdom. What a market to be in on. Quite remarkable. Let's take the break to wrap Diaspora check-in for this week, and then come back to close today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story.
Diaspora check-in during both sides of the story was brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Wednesday, the 24th of March, 2021. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
We got to build a better nation. Clean up job creation. Or there will be no future for you and me. The lips of the righteous, it teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Ooh. Destruction of poor people is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.